Alrighty, hello everyone. Incredible greetings. I am back because I'm about to leave the office. So I was like, let me do this live video so I can get up out of here. All right. Where is my live? Where is my live? Where is my live? There it is. All right. And I think I did this one where it is actually broadcasting to all of my groups at one time, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to hit share one time. And yeah, we are ready to go and get started with this general Q&A. I'm going to try and find the two questions that I had previously and start from there. There we go. Hello, everyone. I gotta pull my, nope, not my chair up, push my desk down. There we go. All right. So hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Shakia, the professor of HSINK365. We are the home of Honestly Speaking. That is our brand of sublimation ink and paper and pigment ink and other accessories. If you have never heard of our company, with our sublimation paper, you are able to sub more efficiently. And why does it keep going dark? Our paper allows you to sublimate as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds. So it's way more efficient than the industry standard of 400 degrees for 60 seconds. You get amazing colors, which you guys can't see. So amazing colors. And I only use plain paper settings. So this is what it looks like on tumblers. So if you are someone who is a tumbler enthusiast and you want to be like all these other people that are on TikTok selling tumblers, this is the results that you get. So you are able to provide your customers with quality tumblers using less temps, lower temps, less time, more efficiency, saving on ink. So check out our website, shop.hsink365.com, if you're interested in selling sublimation tumblers. We also teach designing and business on our platforms. My main platform for teaching and introducing creatives, introducing business owners, introducing those who just want to kind of put some stuff together. If you want to create your own invitation, some people may go like to Zazzle or Vistaprint and kind of use their templates. But if you want to customize a little bit more, even if you are just a DIY mom, grandmom, auntie, you don't have a business, but you just want to create something that you can print out for invitation and it's customized, I highly recommend starting with Select Studio because it allows you to do so much in a free software. So for the past 8 to 9 years or so, I have been teaching others how to utilize the software and to master it to the level that I have. And I am someone who does graphic designing via Photoshop, Illustrator. I've used Corel Draw and things of that nature. But Select Studio is absolutely amazing. I love it. I was introduced to it about 10 years ago, and I fell in love with it. And I still use my other programs, but it's amazing. It's phenomenal. So I have been teaching people how to use that. I do these live sessions because I do teach classes. We're kind of rounding out the end of the year. We're coming up on holiday season. We have some classes that are more detailed, hands-on, step-by-step, being able to ask your question and get an answer in real time, like verbalizing it. Be on the lookout for those. But I like these sessions. They're almost like therapy for me as well, because this is my happy place to be able to help and assist. And I want to be able to help you where you need help, meet you where you are at. So I have these Q&A sessions. If it's like it might be, I caught you at the right time. You're struggling with your printer. Colors aren't printing out. You have banding lines. You can't figure out how to trace something. You felt like you did everything. Your print and cut is going haywire. You're having ghosting on your tumblers. This is your opportunity to express to me what issues or troubles you are having in real time, and I can provide help for you. So this is not necessarily a pre-made class or pre-scheduled, pre-planned out class. All of the information, all of the help that you will receive and that will benefit others comes directly from you guys within the audience. And all you have to do is post your question, and I'm here to help and answer your questions. We're going to be on. If the questions are flowing, we can last, and go up to an hour. If the questions are not flowing, hey, this will be a very, very quick session. All right. So hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings, incredible greetings. You just shared. Thank you. Thank you. Do you have refillable cartridges for the 7840? Yes, we do. Now, they will be limited. It's not something that we will be restocking anytime soon. So you have to get in where you fit in and get your orders in early for those. Those are the 812s. We are limited on the replacement chips. We only have certain colors in stock, and they only work for certain firmwares. But yeah, we do have them, but it only works for certain firmwares. We only have certain replacement chips, but we do have cartridges. Once those cartridges are sold out, I cannot tell you when they will restock, because we're trying to get them to work on the chips and update them to the newer firmware. Do you have a course for marketing for our type of business? So I do have the creative business program, and we've gone over like marketing. I don't have a course that's like specifically for marketing, because it's a lot of things that kind of will affect how you market. I like to have those as like dedicated like sessions, or like built into our business programs. I give general information, but when you are in those programs, you're able to ask questions. I'll ask someone about, okay, well, hey, what is it that you do? Who do you have access to? Are you someone who is very talkative? You are an extrovert? Are you an introvert? If you are an introvert, how you're going to market is going to be very different from someone who is an extrovert, someone who's a socialite, social butterfly. Like, you like to be out in front of people, and you are able to just talk about your business. You're so passionate about it. Someone says one word and you can literally talk for 2 hours about your business. But if you're someone that is an introvert, you may have to use more printed media. If you're not someone that navigates social media well, then you have to figure out, other ways. If you do work well on social media, but your content, your pictures, they're not really converting, it's probably because of how you're taking the pictures, how you're staging them. So we go through a lot in the creative business one, where we've had sessions about taking pictures, creating mock-ups, staging them, call to actions, captions. It's not something that's really blanketed. It's something that is an ongoing thing, and you'll have to work within design to create your flyers or create posts. So I don't have something where it's just one standard thing. Because let me ask you, if I had one just for marketing, what is your marketing budget? Do you even know your marketing budget? So I build it into the business side so that you understand about even having a marketing budget. I am currently using the Epson 7720, and my ink is splattering on my paper, and the paper is getting snagged in my printer. We were talking about as a regular standard inkjet printer, or just standard printing printer, or for sublimation? What settings are you using? Is it happening from all trays, from the rear feed, from the top tray, from the bottom tray? Have you tried to send it from the different locations to see if it's isolated? So I know that was a mouthful. I'll go back through it so you can kind of think about all the different things I just kind of threw at you. Okay, it's sublimation. Do you typically only print from one tray, like just the top? Okay, so if it's now, my suggestion would be to try and send it from the rear feed and also the bottom tray. Even if you're normally using Premium Matte only works from the top tray and the rear feed. But if you're using plain paper setting, you can print it from either one of the trays or the rear feed. My recommendation would be to try to send it from the rear feed or the bottom tray and see if it still gets stuck. If it flows through on, let's say, the rear feed, but it's getting stuck from tray 2, that means the path that the paper takes from the tray part to where it prints, there is something there that's causing a blockage or something like that. If you go from the rear feed and it's still getting stuck, then it's something once you get past that. On the back of the printer, you can pull the back down, take that whole inside part out, shake it, make sure there's no debris in it, blow in it. If you have like the spray the can of air, spray it all out, slide that back in. Look on the inside, see if there's anything there. Now, if you go through all of that and it's still getting jammed and it's still snagging it, then it's probably on its last leg. It's something within the mechanism and how it's picking it up. It can also simply be your paper. So I would recommend trying, I'm not sure if you have like cardstock. If you have 11 by 17, put that in there. You can also look and see, is it just your 13 by 19 paper? Is it happening with 11 by 17? If you put a regular sheet of 8.5 by 11 in there, so these are all things, like there's not an easy answer. I can't say, okay, it's exactly this. What I can do is teach you how to troubleshoot that yourself. And it might seem time consuming, but you have to go through these processes to figure out where the issue is. So if you're using my plain paper setting, then you can try it from any tray to figure out if it is a paper issue or if it's a printer issue. There is a video on that. Well, actually, for the 7210, I'm not even sure. I don't really. I'm not even really sure. I don't think I've ever really dealt with it on the firmware one. You can see if my video that I have, it's for the 7721 to disable it. But if you just keep hitting OK, it does not automatically do the firmware update. If it's on the printer itself, simply hitting OK, it's just a notification. So you may have to find settings and turn off the notification. But if you just hit OK, it's not going to automatically do it. Also, when it comes to the 7210, 7720, 70, whatever 10, firmware updates does not affect those. Your chips, your cartridges will still work. They will still reset. The firmware update is only an issue for the newer ones, but the old workforce, it doesn't matter if you do the firmware update or not. Oh, wait, I didn't want this up here. I just gave you all of the troubleshooting stuff. Just send prints from the rear feed. So when you go into it, you're going to set it to rear feed, send a print from there. Even if you just send it as a plain page, just to see if it gets stuck, send it from the bottom and just kind of see what it does. Send it as an 11 by 17, send it 8.5 by 11. I would recommend that you do those first and at least try it. If you're still experiencing issues, then you can go to our website and book a one-on-one session. It is $50 an hour. Any other questions? Now, some of you have heard this information before. Some of you have not. Some people don't know that I teach classes. So one of the questions that I did get was about our 30-day training for silhouette and whether or not I'm going to do that again, like live. Oh, I saw your 30-day training. I didn't get a chance to attend that live. Will you be doing it again? I feel like I learn better if I'm in a live setting. I will never, ever, 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 ever be doing the 30-day training, like the 30-day for Silhouette Studio, like the Essentials of Silhouette Studio live, where I'm doing it 30 days. I will not be doing that ever again. Never, ever. That was the hardest 30 days ever. But we do have the bachelor's program that is going to be released. I know I said for yesterday, but I kind of got caught up. And then today, I didn't finish certain things for it. But the 30-day training, in the way that it's set up, so many people, like I'm always answering questions. Like when you're asking them, I'm answering the questions as if I'm there. It was recorded in front of a live Zoom audience. It wasn't like I was just sitting here by myself using my screen recorder and just recording it. You still get that classroom or that live feel because you'll hear the voices of other students. It's not just my voice that you will hear. We're going through all of the examples, and you get access to the VIP group, our student union, where you can ask questions. You can post questions on the videos themselves, preferably posted with a timestamp, and then that way I can go right back to that question and answer. It is the foundation for our live classes. When I'm teaching the basics of Silhouette Studio, that is almost like my handbook. I'm always going to refer to that. So even if you sign up for our live class and our live review sessions where we're going to go through those, you have to have the 30-day training. Like there's no if, ands, or buts about it. That's one of the things that we're kind of on the fence on, is only making it available to even sign up for the weekly sessions within the 30-day training, like that's already there. So there'll be a sign up for, you can click on that link and sign up for and pay your fee for the weekly sessions. But you have to have that because we will reference that throughout that process. Now, for the master's program, you will be able to join it, whether we recommend that you do the 30-day. We will not be going back and reviewing like the basics of each tool. It's going to get into designing, helping you to understand how to design, how to put things together, understanding composition and layout, font selection, filling in with color selection, color matching, things of that nature. That is what masters is going to be for. We will not be going over the basics. You must do bachelor's or just the 30-day. If you feel like you're able to do self-paced with the 30-day, go ahead and you can sign up just for that. But we will have 7 weeks of going through that content and reviewing it live with me, and we'll be able to go over some of the exercises. But it starts with the 30-day training. I know there's tons and tons and tons and tons of videos out there. Hell, I have contributed to the tons and tons and tons of learning videos out there. But I do see a lot of people on the videos and they're like, oh my gosh, this went too fast. I'm so confused. Well, it's not that I went too fast. You're confused because you don't understand the software. You don't understand what you're clicking on. In order to get a better understanding, in order to be able to understand whether it's my tutorials or someone else's and know what they're clicking on, you have to understand the software. You have to know where things are. You have to know why would you use subtract? Why am I using crop? Instead of just someone telling you that. So that way, when you are designing on your own, you know what to click on. That is what the 30-day training is for. Yes, I have YouTube videos. If you feel like you can learn from that and you are going to be dedicated to going through these videos, writing notes and piecing it together, hey, do it the free way. but I'm offering, like, this is a way where you can do it in a more organized manner. You are really going to learn the tools and functions and how to use them so that you can move on to learning how to design. I cannot stress it enough. It is now $103.65. It's well worth it. You can break it up with Sezzle. You can break it up with ShopPay. You can break it up with PayPal. That's the only ways to like not pay it like all in once is through ShopPay, Sezzle, or PayPal's buy now, pay later. It is a small investment, but if you really think about 30 days of instruction, it's a drop in the bucket. I cannot stress enough how important that class is if you really want to learn with me. We have to be on the same page in order for you to learn from me. You could have taken classes with a whole bunch of other people. If they teach a different way and I'm showing you a different way, it's going to be more confusing for you because you're not going to understand where I'm coming from and how I am teaching it. If you go to a class at a college, like, you can't go and say, all right, well, y'all book costs too much. I can't afford this book. I'm going to get this book that was a little bit cheaper and then try and like, you just can't do that. You have to learn from the book that professor is using. Our 30-day training is no different. You have to learn how I teach and what I click on. I use a lot of keyboard shortcuts, so it's important for you to understand when I'm saying, okay, I'm going to copy. You may not see me do anything on the screen because I prefer keyboard shortcuts. But if you take the training and I'm telling you and I'm showing you, these are all the ways that you can copy. If you are a visual person, you can go to the copy symbol at the top. Or you can, if you rather read it, you go to the top left side, you click on is it object or panel, you'll find copy. If you're more of like a right click person, you're going to right click and you're going to find the copy. There's so many ways to do the same exact functions. And I actually break down all of those different ways so that if you are watching and all someone says is, okay, you're going to group. Okay, you're like, wait a minute, how do I group? Because I didn't see you right click or I didn't see them pop up on the screen. Well, they may have quickly clicked the icon or they click this. Not everyone kind of moves their mouse. Some people, I have bad wrists, so I don't like to move my mouse a lot. I like a lot of keyboard shortcuts. That is the main purpose of that 30-day training. Oh no, I'm never ever doing the 30-day training. Like I can say never on. I will never do the Essentials to Silhouette Studio again. I'm not doing 30 days straight ever again. It will be learning it through smaller sessions, but that is what I can say never. I just purchased a design from Etsy. It was an SVG. I have never had a problem with layering an SVG design. I was told by the person that not all SVGs can be layered. I'm not sure what that means. Now, if you would like things like that are very specific, I don't know how this designer set up. I really don't need their designs. Like, I'm not asking for these designs so that I can add it to my stuff. If you're saying that, most 9 times out of 10, I'm not even gonna want to use it anyway. But I would need to see it in order to help you figure it out. That's where you could send that to our email, the professor at HSINK365.com, and I can take a look at that. And you have to let me know what is it that you're trying to do. Because if it's an SVG and it has separate parts, it can be layered. Not sure what they mean by it can't be layered. Incredible afternoon, Shawnee D. Any questions over on TikTok? Y'all are just watching just to watch. We have no questions over here. All righty. And the likes aren't liking me. Go ahead and double tap that screen a couple of times. We've been on for 25 minutes. We definitely should have more than 1,000 likes over here on TikTok. So if you're at your computer and you're able to send it now, I have my email open. I can take a look at that and we could maybe even look at it on screen. All right, who is currently watching with us right now who does sublimation, or you have an interest in getting started with sublimation? Okay, well, I know your name too, and you actually use our product, so it would be a mute point on you. You already used the best. Are you currently using, honestly speaking, sublimation products? Have you heard about them? Do you know about all of the amazing and incredible features of, honestly speaking, products? You have an interest in sublimation, so you have not started yet. You don't have printers, ink, paper. Do you understand how it works? Did I turn this on? Oh wow, I did not even realize I actually did turn on my heat press. I would have left out of here today and did not even realize I turned on my heat press. Jesus, I don't remember turning this thing on. Good thing I did come over here and look at this. Okay, that makes no sense. Okay, she texts an SVG doesn't mean layered. It means scalable vector, which is an SVG file. Is it some, I need to see the file and also to know what you're trying to do, because yes, it is a vector. It means scalable vector graphic. But if it is something that has several parts to it in different colors, it can be layered. Like, I don't understand that. That's kind of weird to me. I would really like to see the file. I wouldn't know like what you're trying to do. I mean, if it's just text, right? So if it was, okay, let's say, let's take my shirt for example, right? Well, dang it, now I got to come back down. All right, I'm gonna try and tilt a little here. Okay, so let's say we take my shirt, right? It's all, this could easily be an SVG, or it can just be a vector file because I just typed it out in Silhouette Studio. The layering part, if I was doing this in vinyl, would be the words vibes only, and the fact that it goes over the S and the K and the O. So I can layer it right on top, but you'll see the lines of demarcation in the vinyl. Or I can subtract that away to where it's technically still a layer. There are different parts to it. So I can put down vibes only and the I, as well as this one. If I was doing this in vinyl, I could have a solid black and I can layer the other three colors on top, or I can have the black, and because it is an SVG and it is vector, I can go subtract all and it's going to leave an opening and I'm able to put those in the middle. That is still in the craft world considered layering, because you are putting more than one color like next to each other, whether they are layered directly on top or you have that opening where it's going to fit like a puzzle. So I don't really understand what they mean by that, and I really would need to see the file. So if you want to send it, I don't even have to show it on the screen. I can just kind of advise you. It is the professor at hsink365.com. My 7720 printer is printing with lines again, but only on larger prints. The lines are there with the 11, but extremely bad 11 by 17. So what do you mean? Again, are we talking banding lines or are you talking lines of pinwheel dots? Okay, so one, I don't shy away from this, and I can probably help you figure it out. So you said you just purchased our paper. You just purchased it, or you have it, because I'm not sure if you are referring to ours or someone else's. So you said you don't like it because you can't get the colors right. You don't like our paper because you can't get the colors right, or you don't like sublimation in general as far as getting colors right. And did you have another paper where you felt like the colors were better with that particular paper? I have watched your videos and did them all, but it fixes small prints, but not large ones. And I'm using it for sublimation. So I'm not sure what you mean as far as like, is it banding lines or is it small pinwheels? I have a printer that I would like to change to a sublimation. It's been sitting in my closet. I've ordered your paper. I was just nervous about setting up my printer. Is it a new printer or is it an old printer that has been used before that the ink may be dried up in? And this is one of the reasons why I like my live classes, like when I have the Zooms for you guys to get on it, because when we kind of have to wait for you to type it out, especially if it's a longer message, so that you're not sending a bunch of smaller ones. It's a lot easier to verbalize it. So especially for the design classes, the business classes, I love doing the Zoom sessions because I can get like an immediate response and it just makes it go a little bit smoother. We don't have like the dead air. Can I change an Epson 4760 pigment ink from sublimation? So any of the EcoTank printers, I don't recommend ever trying to change that from whatever ink that you put in it to a different ink, because you're not going to be able to flush out the lines. Sublimation ink is very, very, very aggressive. So even if you were to pull all the ink out, because you're going to still have like a little bit of sublimation ink in the bottom, the settlement is it's below where the hose is. So you'll never be able to fully get all of that ink out. And then you're going to have the ink that's basically inside the lines. You can't really flush it all the way out. So I don't ever recommend trying to switch types of ink. You can switch brands of like the same thing. So if you want to switch brands of sublimation ink, it's still sub ink. You want to switch brands of pigment ink, it's still pigment ink. Of eco solvent ink, it's still eco solvent ink. But going from sublimation to pigment or sublimation to eco solvent is not advisable in an EcoTank printer because of what it has to take. Also, those printers are not made for pigment. Pigment ink isn't just okay, well, this is a different type of ink. Like, it's made for a specific printer. If you put this ink, which is pigment ink, yes, it is still going to be water resistant and it won't run when it gets wet. However, because that printer is made to use this type of ink, your colors are going to be off. So if colors and accuracy in colors are important to you, putting pigment ink in a printer that uses dye ink is never going to give you accurate colors. Okay. So I just purchased your paper. I have not used it yet. I've tried other papers previously and was unable to get the colors right. So I will say we thank you so very much for purchasing our paper. There's going to be a lot of benefits to using our paper. Now, depending on the printer that you have, no matter what paper you use, depending on the printer itself, your colors are not going to be right. The ink that you're using is not going to, like, let's say you may have a workforce printer, but you have a particular ink and their formula just doesn't produce accurate colors. You're never going to get that no matter the paper that you use. You can print to plain paper setting. I have a set of tumblers up there that I printed, one with sublimation paper, one with plain paper. It doesn't necessarily change. I mean, it does change the color a little bit, but not like too much. On camera, it's a little bit harder to tell, but this is the one that was done with copy paper, plain paper. This is sublimation paper. So if we go to like this area, you can tell that this is darker than this one. You can tell that this one has a filter on it, but you can tell that like over here, that the yellow is darker than here. It's slightly different. It's just the saturation of it. But the ink is the ink and it's going to produce that. So if your colors are off, like you're not able to get teals, you're not able to get your reds are printing out orange, the paper that you use is not going to change that. So even with that, so you have an Epson F570. The paper that you're going to use is not going to change it. And like that's their ink. As long as you actually put Epson's ink and you did not purchase a third party. People ask me all the time, can I use your ink in my F570? I mean, yes, it is sublimation ink. It's still going to sublimate, but why would you when that printer is made for sublimation ink? They have a sublimation ink that's made for it. Most people who are buying third party is because they are using a printer where in the box, a different type of ink came in that box. So you need a third party ink to put in there to make it a sublimation printer. But in F170, it is sublimation. So changing the paper is not going to improve your color. Now it's a matter of going through each of the settings that they have on their software, making sure you have their drivers downloaded and installed, going through all of their different settings and seeing how it prints out. I recommend using like Skittles or using a color chart and printing that out and like going on. I give it in the sublimation seminar. I have this sheet that has different images and it has like bags of Skittles and stuff. And it's a great way to test the colors of your printer. But paper is not really going to change that. I've tried your paper with 3 different inks and it outperforms all the other papers I have used. I thank you so much for that. So yeah, if it's a new printer, if you would rather like set up a session with me, if it's a couple of you guys where it's like you have the printers, you're afraid of messing up. Yes, I have done tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of videos on setting up printers, but it's maybe you need that extra push. If there's enough of you guys that want me to schedule a session and it's like, hey, in this session, let's set up our printers, I'll be more than happy to set that up. That way I can be of emotional and mental support for you as you're setting it up. And you'll realize like, I took all this time and I was worried about this for nothing. Now I can rock and roll and I can get this all set up. So if that's something, if it's enough of you guys who have printers that are sitting and you are scared, let me know. Shoot me an email. I want to see how many emails I get that says I'm scared to set up my printer. Go ahead and send it to the professor at HSINK365.com. If it's enough of those emails, I'll go ahead and I'll put it out there where I'll schedule a Zoom session and we can set them up together. So the 2400 is one where it doesn't have a screen. And so for some people, because everything is like just buttons and stuff like that, it gets a little tricky with knowing like that you sent the right print size and all that kind of good jazz, because I believe that's the one that doesn't have the touch screen to it. I'm going to verify, but Epson ET2400. Yeah, that's the one that is just a standard printer. You have no screen on it. So you have to make sure that you are sending, like it's just lights and things on the top. So when there is an error, if it's a paper mismatch, there aren't, I don't have a video on it to really help you when it comes to paper mismatches and things like that. But that's like the troubleshooting side if anything kind of goes wrong. But as long as you are setting it up and sending it the right way, you should not have much issues. But that was 179 compared to 199. Although I think they may have gone up to like 229. So a lot of people end up opting for the 2400 and didn't realize how important that little screen would be. Because on this one, you only have buttons and lights to let you know what's going on with the printer. I'm going to go ahead and end the live for you guys over here. I thank you guys for watching, but if you have no questions for me, it's not really beneficial over on this platform. If you would like to still kind of hear the rest of the questions and answers, you can always head over to our YouTube, Honestly Speaking. We are live and broadcasting over there, but there's really no sense in leaving the live broadcast up if we don't have any questions from the audience over on TikTok, okay? And it looks like the questions that we actually might be ending it everywhere. No questions over on this side either, correct? Thank you for the likes, Phyllis. Oh. All right. Am I going to do some more graduation stuff this year? I don't really do a lot of like winter or fall graduations. For me, graduation stuff is in the spring graduation. I don't typically do it. If you have specific questions, then hey, ask them. If you're trying to figure out how to do something for graduation, you are more than welcome to ask that any time of the year. But I don't typically, plan out to do graduation stuff. I'm normally sharing that stuff when I'm physically working on orders, and I don't normally get graduation orders for fall and winter graduations. Do I have a video that explains why you should outsource for bulk orders? I've actually a dedicated video for that. Kind of, sort of, because I've talked about transfers a little bit. So I guess you can say I do kind of have that where I've talked about why you would outsource. And it's just, the simple answer is to save you time. And if you don't have that equipment, if you are someone that purchased a sublimation printer, you got tired of vinyl, you were tired of weeding, you're like, okay, well, I wanted to do sublimation. I can print it, I can press it. But now you have requests for dark color cotton shirts. Well, you don't want to do vinyl. Sublimation is not made for cotton shirts. It's not made for darker shirts. So what are your options? It's going to be to order screen print transfers, order eco solvent transfers, or order DTF transfers. Typically, if you're ordering screen print transfers, you're not doing that for like a quick runoff because of how they have to make it and how much they cost. That's like your 20 or more single color. If you're doing multiple colors, preferably 50, 75 to 100 or more, because of how much money and how many screens it takes to do a full color. If you don't want screen print full color, then that's when you're going to go into DTF. Those don't have a minimum. There's no setup fee. You just have to decide if you want to do that based off of how much time you have, if you don't have anyone local that does it. And a lot of you guys say that you don't have anyone local that does DTF, but to be honest, you guys really aren't looking. You think because you go in the group and like you don't see someone, like you're not riding by a store and seeing, hey, we sell DTF. But if you do a little research, if you do some Google searches, you make it specific to like your area, you search for print shops. If you call around to just search print shops, call around, see what they offer. You'll probably find that there is someone that has a particular service that you need. So you're not outsourcing to have it shipped to you all the time. You have someone locally, and you can, if it's like a 2-day turnaround. That's how I am with Florida Flex. I know I have 2 days, so I can't do like last minute, same day, next day. It takes 2 days for me to get my transfers from Florida Flex. But I have talked about that on quite a few occasions. I can't pinpoint a specific video, but we also have had classes about that very topic. It is the Professor at HSINK365.com. Hold on. There you go. Thank you. Do you recommend a color chart if you have I don't care what it is. I always recommend a color chart. Hold on one second. But yeah, I recommend, like I said, this is my rolling. It's the ink that comes with the rolling. I still print out a color chart. This company used the ink that's made for their DTF printer. I still have a color chart printed out. You should always have a color chart, because the color chart isn't necessarily about just the ink in the printer. Your color chart helps you with designing based off of your monitor. All monitors are different. I have a picture, and I think the memory just came up and I just reposted it, where I took a picture with my phone of my desktop monitors and my laptop monitor. And the color was different on both, because one has more of a backlight, or maybe it's like just the resolution of it, but the colors look different on those. So a color chart is to let you know, once it is printed out, it's completed, it's subbed or whatever, this is the color that it will be, and you would use that color code. On your computer, it may look nothing like that color if you have not calibrated your monitor to your printer. The only way where you would not need a color chart is if you went through that process. You're going to buy like a color monkey, and you are going to calibrate your monitor to your printer. And that way, you know, what you see on there is going to work for your printer. Now, you send that to somebody else to print, it may not work out. Like it may be a slight difference in color. But it's not necessarily about just the ink. It's about the way that it's going to look when it's outputted and your monitor. Okay, so I would like to start doing warm-ups for seniors, but not sure how they will do. So that's not necessarily grad stuff. So when you say grad, I'm thinking about stoles and yard signs. Now, if you're trying to do things like for senior year, it won't, I can do all the videos in the world and I can just show putting senior on a hoodie. Doesn't mean that it's going to work well for you. You have to have that market. You have to know what your seniors are wanting. They may want to have a hoodie that says senior or class of 2024, but if it's not the style, if you don't know how to reach those schools, if you don't know how to like market it, I can show you how to put a design on there, but doesn't mean that it's going to instantly sell for you. But yeah, senior stuff and grad are two different things. I want to learn how to make my own rhinestone templates. Day 24, 25, day 23 of the 30-day training goes over rhinestones. Not only do you learn rhinestones, but I also show you how to mix media. Mix sizes with your designs, and how to break your designs up to be able to set them to different size stones. So if you want to start learning how to design with stones, the 30-day training, tracing is going to help you. Text is going to help you to then go to rhinestones. So those are going to be maybe your main focal points would be text, tracing, and then the rhinestone effects. Same thing for you. I'm not sure if it's the same person, but same thing. Get the 30-day training, focus on tracing, text, and then the rhinestone day on how to apply that rhinestone feature. Day 23 is rhinestones. Have I made any decals before? I sure have. That's one of the things I kind of like started with. That's also why I got my rolling, was to be able to make decals. But I've also done decals for cups, decals for cars, decals for all sorts of things, from just 651 and layering it. But I now have like my rolling when I want to do full color prints. There's not much that I haven't done. You go through our videos, or you search like honestly speaking, decals, or honestly speaking, adhesive vinyl, or honestly speaking, 651, or Silaholics Anonymous 651, you'll end up finding a lot of those videos. Anything that you want to know if I've done a video for, the best thing to do is to put Silaholics Anonymous or honestly speaking, SPINKING, and then put your keywords, and YouTube will show you what videos we've had for that. But if you have, don't just say, okay, do you have a specific question about decals? Why did you ask that question? Like, it's okay to ask follow-up questions. Have I done decals? I said yes. What me saying yes does what for you? Is it just to let you know, hey, they can be done? Do you have a specific question about decals? Do you know what materials you're supposed to use for decals? Are you trying to do full color decals? Are you wanting to do single color ones? Or do you want to be able to do it with your Cameo or your Cricut? These are questions that you guys can ask. If you ask open-ended, I'm just going to answer yes. But does that answer actually help you? No. There's not much that I haven't done. So thank you, love, watch, and learn from. I actually couldn't divide a school logo, and I watched you divide the Indian head. I was able to succeed with the logo I was working on. Awesome. I hadn't seen one before, probably because I had been so focused on sublimation. I now know I can go look for your videos on that. Okay. I haven't done any like recently for, I'm trying to think, when was the last time I really cut? I cut adhesive vinyl for the Caesar. That's considered a decal. Technically, this is a decal because it's from vinyl. We don't call these stickers. It's an insult to vinyl workers to call these stickers. This is a vinyl decal. You put the transfer tape on it and it can be transferred to something. So yes, this is a decal. Can you use Silhouette Studio if you don't have a Silhouette machine? Yes, I'm so glad someone asked that question. Yes, you can. You can use Silhouette Studio if you don't have a machine. Even if you have a different machine, if you have a Caesar, it is still, don't make your decision on whether or not you keep your Caesar, Romeo, or Juliet. If you send it back based off of the software, you can design in any software. Think of Silhouette Studio as a design software. Illustrator designs SVG. Is it connected directly to any machine? No, it is simply a design software. You guys go and design. I want to learn Photoshop. Is it attached to any is it proprietary to any printer? Is it proprietary to any cutting machine? No, you just design in it. Silhouette Studio is a standalone designing software that you can use. If you've never ever purchased a Cameo machine, it's fine. You can still use it. I have hundreds of, actually probably even well over 1,000, because I have over 6,000 students that I've taught. So I probably have over 1,000 students that don't own a Cameo at all. They are Cricut users, but Cricut limits them in designing. Cricut limits them in being able to print. I can print full banners directly from Silhouette Studio. So I recommend learning Silhouette Studio. This is why I push it so much and I teach it. It is a great beginner software to get into, to start to understand tools and terminology of graphic programs. No. Okay. So it's not this month. I have a 30-day training on our website. So let me go over and I'll just show you that. So share screen. If you head over to our website, we have Essentials to Silhouette Studio. Learn Silhouette Studio in 30 days. I'm so glad that you kind of post that way, because then that lets me know I'm not communicating correctly, that I'm referring to a class that is on our website. This is our 30-day training. It's Essentials to Silhouette Studio. Learn Silhouette Studio in 30 days. We go through everything that you need to know about Silhouette Studio, really diving into it, going step by step by step by step by step by step through every single tool and function. In this training, I am teaching you not just the how, but the why of why you would use this particular tool or function, how to troubleshoot through it. Man, I promise you, I followed this video to the T. I did everything they said to do, but mine's isn't showing up like that. It might be one little thing, especially if you use subtract. There's just like little small pieces to the back. You hit subtract, everything disappears. So many people, oh my God, I must have messed something up. I did release compound path, but all it did was make everything black. It was supposed to do that. Here's why it's supposed to do that. And here's what you're supposed to do. That is what this training is for. It breaks it all down for you. You don't have to scour through a bunch of different videos on YouTube. They are extended classes, they are detailed classes, but everything is here for you. You're looking for how to subtract, you know exactly what day to go to. So day 23 of this training goes over rhinestones. Day 23 of our 30-day training goes over rhinestones. Now, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do rhinestone designs. Okay, you can focus on the day for shapes. So we're going to make a shape and we're going to come over to the rhinestone function. We're going to go to the outline, or you can fill it in linear. You can fill it in radial. Okay. Or you can go to here, enroll today. I'm actually going to take this. I'm going to change this to I love glitter just for the heck of it. Let me see, what is this one now? So let's go to I love glitter. And I actually meant to go today. Oh, come on. All right. I love glitter. Today. Oh, come on. Okay. So I have enrolled today. I'm going to go I'm going to go back to the rhinestone tool and I can go outline, which is going to look kind of crazy. I teach you how to combat that. You have linear, so it'll fill in. You have radial. So this is what it takes to create rhinestones. Now, when you have funky stuff like this in the training, I teach you how to correct that, how to fix that when that happens. If you have an image that needs to be traced, you're then going to focus on the tracing. So to learn how to do text, set it up, you're going to do text. There is a way, like in the rhinestone, we break certain things apart. You do that through edit points, which is why all of those trainings are before we get to rhinestones. If you have a design, it's a PNG, you need to trace it to turn it into a rhinestone design. In order to make it rhinestone, it has to be a vector first. So you're going to go to the days on tracing. So if your main focus is rhinestones, although all of this is really, really, really great information, you may just need to focus on like maybe setup, knowing that you need designer edition, designer plus, or business. Then you're going to focus on text. You're going to focus on tracing. And then you're going to go over to rhinestones. So maybe that's where you start out at, because that's the information that you want to learn. Okay, so that's the question that we asked, right? So I honestly have no clue on what to use to make a decal. So what do you think decals are for? When you ask a question about decal, what were you thinking of using them on? Because then I can now advise you on what it is that you're going to need. I do these sessions, guys. I want you guys to really think about these questions, not just kind of ask open-ended questions. I'm giving you 20 years of knowledge, but I don't know what you mean by that. Like, I don't know that you didn't know what you would even use. So for someone to say, well, I don't even know what I would use for a decal. So where did the term decal come from for you? What are you thinking of when you think of decal? Is it that you're thinking like a window sticker, a bumper sticker, a sticker for packaging? What are you wanting to use decals for? Because depending on what you want to use it for will determine what material you're going to use. So yeah, you can definitely print full banners from there as long as you are able to plug your printer into your computer. So if you, whether it's like you at Wi-Fi, or if you just have the printer cable, you're designing in it. You can design, like there is no limitation. So if you're not going to use the machine, you're going to set your machine to none, and you're going to make your design page whatever size you need. If you're going to design it and it's going to be 48 inches, 48 inches by 48. So a 4x4, you can go, you're going to design it. Now it will probably move a little bit slower. I like to print more so from Photoshop if it's something that's going to be a lot of graphics, or what I would do is design it, save it, and then open it back up as a flattened image, and then I can technically print from here. Most times for my rolling, I have it set to 18.5. And let's say if I did like a 36-inch banner or 48, I can print that. You can set this to whatever size and you can send it to print. Most people like Silhouette Studio for sublimation because unlike Cricut Design Space, you can set your design page to 13 by 19. You can set it to 11 by 17 and you can print the entire page. No, you do not have to review them in sequence. If there is something that you really want to learn, you can jump to that. Now, I will say there's going to be other things, like there's going to be some where a class before may help it make a little bit more sense because we are going to be using that tool or function within that particular training. So if you kind of missed it, but no, you do not have to watch them in sequence. You can watch them in whatever order. For some, this may not be the best sequence. It's so how I decided on these particular days and the way that we scheduled them was I wanted the classes or the sessions that were the major ones to be on the weekends. People had like they were off of work, they had a little bit more time. They weren't like 1 hour sessions. Some of these sessions were like 3 hours long, 4 hours long. They were long sessions. Now you have the ability to start and stop, leave yourself a marker for where you left off at just by typing in a timestamp on the playback video. That way you can go back to it. You can put the day and put the timestamp on it and then be able to go back to that particular part of that video. But I did it where wherever there was a weekend, that's where I had that like the real good meat and potatoes of the training. So like the first weekend we went through modify, subtract, compound pass. That was important to do that before we got to tracing, before we got to edit points, because a lot of people struggle with cropping, multiple cropping, compound pass. So that was the 2 weekend days for that. The following week, the weekend days was tracing. That's another big component. So it's not to say that that's the order that you have to learn things in. We put those on those days because it just gave us more time on the weekend. Then it was edit points. Then it was designing. So actually we did templates and then some designing. And then the following week, we never got to like the weekend. So the weekend days were ones where it was more time, but you don't have to. If you need to now, like right now, learn about offsets, we go through understanding if something is small versus large, how does it affect your offset? So I'll just show you just a quick example of that real quick. So I'm going to take this off of rhinestones. Okay. And we'll fill this in with some color. I'm going to make that small, right? And we're actually going to make a duplicate of this. So if I come over here to offset, I'm just going to put the default offset on this, and I'm going to go apply. All right. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to go offset, and I'm going to actually make this a full inch. And I'm going to hit apply. So if we look at the top one, at the standard or the default of 0.125, we have the offset going around each of the letters. Okay, it's a slight offset, like it's a full offset around today, but over here it's all individual letters. But if I come down here, based on the size of it, enroll is all one, today is all one, but I don't have the middle parts to this. The way I have it up here. In the offset class, I break that down and explain why this is this. How do you know, like, the distance that it's going to be? So if you are working on offsets, you're trying to figure that out, you may jump to that. If you needed to figure out how to adjust the colors, you want to change the colors, you may need to focus on image effects, but you do not have to go in order. All right, so you don't know how to put a timestamp on the playbacks. All right, let me pull up one of these playbacks. Let's go. See, these are the questions that I need. These are good questions. I don't know that you guys didn't know that you didn't have to go in order, and that you didn't understand what I mean by adding the timestamps to the playbacks. Let me go to here. Content. Okay, what the heck just happened? Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's go to tracing. All right. All right. So let's just say on this one, right? You are working on your, okay, hold on. Okay. You are working on your design, right? So like here, you're working on it, you had to stop. So I'm actually, this one has a timestamp on it too. Oh, well, it actually doesn't have all of it. It's kind of, it's not a full breakdown, but like, let's say you stopped here. So you're going to put your name, it's for you. It's 9:19 and where you stopped at, sometimes it'll show it to you also. But if you just kind of want to jump back into it, let's say if it did restart or, on the bow. So you're just going to leave yourself a comment. You're going to put 9:19:23. That timestamp was 1:05:40. Like I said, see, this tracing day was 3 hours and 22 minutes, not including the bonus session. So it's going to be 1:05:46. So you're going to go in and put 01:45:46, I think I said, whatever it was. and then I'm just going to comment. All right, that's going to leave a timestamp. I'm going to just jump way up over here. If I come back to this comment and click on that, it's going to come back to 1:45:46. So you're just leaving a comment. You're leaving a comment for that. Okay. So we're not ready to learn about decals just yet, because you said I'm not even, I have a clue on what to make a decal. So we just kind of want to know about it. We're not ready for all the info yet, right? But I'm always here. Once you are ready to learn and understand what you need for decals, catch me on a live session and ask that question when you are ready for that information and understand what it's going to take for you to make decals. No problem. Or you know where that also comes in handy at? So let's say you're taking notes, right? You got through all of the video because now you're at the end. You're looking at your notes. And let's say if you left yourself a comment on, what day, like let's say, okay, you're working today, you're on the tracing one, you're going to make on, you have that notepad, the note guide, you print that out, you're going to put today's date on the top, that this is the day that you're working on it. All right, well, you get through all of them. Now, all right, I really, really want to go through and work on it step by step. I left myself notes. So on the note guide, there are timestamps, right? So let me open that for you guys as well. I'm not sure if you understand how to use the note guide. Did you download the notes? Did you download the note guide so that you can organize your notes? Okay, what's going on? All right, so every single section, there is a note guide for it. So you have some general sheets, like extra sheets, and then there's ones for image effects. There's one for text effects where it's already labeled for you. So if I open up the ones for text effects, fill, line tool, where's tracing? Okay, so let's say I open up the one for tracing. They all are pretty much the same. It's just that it's already labeled for you. So you don't have to go in and write it. So you have tracing. You print this out. You see part or timestamp, because we don't really have the ones that have this. You're going to write out. There we go. You're going to write what that timestamp is. You're going to write yourself some notes for that page for tracing. Look for your timestamps and then your notes. So you can write the timestamp here, and then you can just slide to it on the video, or even from this, you can leave notes on the video for yourself. That way you're looking at that note, put the timestamp, type that note in for yourself. Maybe your note will help somebody else. So notes to self. Here was key functions and shortcuts. You can draw a little picture of it. Whatever the shortcut was, like or copying or release compound path. I talk about what the shortcuts are. You write the shortcuts here. Now you know where to go at for that information. Dang it. I can't find my sheet that she had her shortcuts. What's the shortcut for copy again? What's the keyboard? I really want to learn these keyboard shortcuts. Well, go to your notes on tracing. Go to your notes on settings and preferences. Go to your notes on shortcuts. Go to your notes for copy and paste or compound paths, how to release compound path. Write all of them there. What's the key uses? And I go in and I'm talking about, what do you use compound path for? That's where you're going to write that at. I set all of this up for you, but some of you guys are not utilizing those resources within the 30-day training. It is not your average one. But if you don't use all of the resources there, you're not going to get the most out of it. So you can print these out, print them front to back, get your little notebook, put them in there, and keep your notes organized for the class. Okay, so you said you did download, you just haven't used it yet. Okay, awesome. You should download and you know that it's there. Some people don't even realize that it's there. And it's already labeled for you. And for the next part of this, those who enroll in bachelor's, this actually now has an upgrade with some with the pictures on it, and then like some other additional information. It's more of like a pre-written guide for you to kind of start you off on your notes. So those who enroll in that, you're going to get the updated learning guide. Where can you find keyboard shortcuts? You're going to go. So every word, like it has it. So if you, like I said, if you come up here, you go to, like weld, it tells you that one right there. So it tells you in the software. You can see it here. If we go to replicate, you see all of these keyboard shortcuts here. Or if you just simply go to help, go to the user manual. The last page of the user manual is the keyboard shortcuts. In my 30-day training, I let you know the most important keyboard shortcuts, and I have them highlighted for you. So you can get that, download it, and you can, like, the ones that I'm normally going to use are highlighted. A lot of the ones like replicate and stuff, the average user does not use, but all of them are there. There is a user manual. Some people don't realize that. If you just wanted to know like their terminology that they use and how they describe different tools and functions, there is actually a user manual in Silhouette Studio. Just go to help and then user manual. That was a good question too. So who all did not know that the 30-day training was that detailed and it provided that many resources? Did you guys think that it was? All right, so I do have a question. How many of you guys think that you are getting the best of me in these free videos and your thought process is, I don't have to join a class? Like, she answers all these questions. Like, how many of you, be honest, like maybe you were hesitant in purchasing a class because I do so much free content here. And you're thinking that you can learn everything from my YouTube videos. How many of you did or didn't know that? Like, let me know if you did or didn't know that there were those resources within the training where there is a guide that is labeled for you. I uploaded a rhinestone template in I uploaded in Creative Fabrica. I downloaded from I uploaded in Leonardo Design Space. The template is about nurses, so it says it they only lap over one another in Creative Fabrica, but in Leonardo it shows up, but not the way it looks on Creative Fabrica. On Leonardo it shows only one nurse sign, not the other overlap. So I was wondering if I go ahead to cut it. Oh, that's a very detailed question. Oh my gosh, I got to go back. I didn't know your 30-day training was so detailed, but I'm glad I purchased it. Yes, it is very, very detailed. No, it's great that, I mean, you're someone that question wasn't really for you. It's more so for the ones who have hesitated to take our classes. Um, I'm not sure if it's just the financial part of it, or feeling like, I mean, is it really going to be more than what you receive in the live videos? Because I'm naturally very, very detailed, but that is true. What you learn in the classes now becomes reinforced when I do a video. You are able to enjoy the video more. You're able to really learn from the video because you've gotten the basics in something like Silhouette Studio, Essentials of Silhouette Studio. If you took the text effects, the more videos that you see, like maybe you were a little lost in the text effects, but now you see it used somewhere else, you can go back to the text effects and now it's making a little bit more sense. So you are on the right track in using it to reinforce the teachings that you have received. But I know that there are a lot of people who are kind of sitting in the cut, like, do I want to? Do I want to jump in? It's like they're playing almost like trying to figure out they want to play double dutch with your girl with enrolling in the trainings. And as much as people say it's worth it, I think they think that they're getting all of me. I give y'all a lot, like in the class, even though it's pre-recorded, it's little tricks and things here and there that I don't ever talk about on live videos. The 30-day training is honestly the best ever. I have not used my cutting machine, but the things you go over put my mind at ease. So you don't, again, it's not about the cutting machine. Me teaching Silhouette is about designing. So if you are someone that prints, if you are someone that wants to order transfers, screen print transfers, DTF transfers, eco-solvent transfers, if you want to design in there and then use your Caesar, use your Solo, use your Cricut, because it's easier to design. I don't associate the program and teaching essentials for the machine at all. Even if you've never touched your machine, you should still be using that software to design. Even if it's, learning how to trace and detach so that your images are the correct size, so you can size them just to print them out. I want you guys to not think of Cameo and Silhouette Studio. I teach Silhouette Studio as a beginner software. Before, some of you guys are intimidated by Photoshop, you're intimidated by Affinity Designer or Affinity Photo or Illustrator, or it's like, I want to learn to design, but I'm not quite there where I can pay $30 a month, $20 a month to be able to have Photoshop and Illustrator, or was it $50 a month for it? I'm not able to commit to a monthly payment for forever, right? Silhouette Studio, you can download that for free and you can use that forever for free. Or you can make a one-time purchase for Designer Edition, Designer Plus, or Business Edition. I recommend Business Edition. And you unlock all of the additional features to be able to open up certain files, download or save certain files, and have additional shortcuts in designing. I teach it separately. I could care half a crap about any of the machines you get. I don't care if you ever buy a Silhouette machine. Don't really care. It's about the software. It's about me teaching you how to design, where you don't have to have a subscription to Photoshop and then Canva and this and that. You can learn for free in Silhouette Studio. It is now 103.65. It's 30 days. There's bonus days. So when I just looked at it, the playlist actually has 37 recordings, 37 sessions. So that's $2.80 per session. $2.80 for sessions that are anywhere from an hour to 3 hours long. So someone says, hi, why is it always hit or miss when doing a print and cut? My machine is not cutting my offset evenly. How can I fix this? I don't know what y'all mean. It's never hit or miss with me. Like I can go right now and I can do a print and cut on my 1, my 2, my 3, my 4. It's never hit or miss for me. I don't know if it's the machine, like the paper you're using, if it's, how you have your design set up, how you have traced it. We have done several videos where a lot of people think that it's the machine, but because so many of you guys design and you just do a trace and detach, you're never zooming in. You don't know how well that trace and detach did. So if it has transparent pixels, it'll pick up on it. On your screen, you like, even if you put it on the background, you put it on the gray. Because it's transparent, you're seeing the gray. But you have to remember you're printing onto white paper. You're printing onto no, what is it called? Opaque. Golly, the printable transfer, Jet Pro 3G opaque. You're printing onto Easy Subly or Color Print Easy. Because that is a white base, those transparent pixels on a white will actually pick up white. So it's not that it's not cutting accurately. Your design was not traced and detached properly. You didn't go in and move your edit points or do an internal offset to remove those transparent pixels that are going to pick up as white when you're printing it on a white substrate or a white media. That is what most people don't realize, and they're blaming the machine, but it's in how you trace and detach. Now, let's say you typed out text. Now, if you typed out text and you filled it with color and you're still getting that, now we're cooking with fish grease, and it might be something with your machine, how it registered. Did you have anything in the restrictive areas? Did you increase the thickness of your print and cut? I personally don't have those issues. My print and cuts are on point every single time. Well, you made the end of the live. I'm actually about to wrap it up because I got to go pick up Zion Imani in a few. That's why you got to catch them when they're on sale. We had it once, like we just had it where it was like buy an HS Ink product, you got it for 60% off. Some people end up getting the class for, what was it? It was, why is he sending it to me? Huh? And it was originally $83.65. It just went up because of inflation. So some people got it for $41.46. They purchased an ink that they're going to need anyway, and it was 60% off, and they got it for basically $42. So try and catch the sales. That we won't have another one until in the end of the year. Do not fray away from the 30-day training. It gives you everything you need that you didn't know existed. Get this. I promise you won't be disappointed. It's always, but it's also a dedicated Facebook group. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be there. So if you have to save up a little by little to be able to purchase it, I recommend doing that. But you don't want to go forever and not have the training. If you really, really want to learn it, I get it. Some people are on a fixed income. If you can save up for it, make a plan to where when you are selling items that you are saving up to be able to purchase that, because once you are able to design more efficiently and faster, you can make money faster as well. It's worth the price. You learn how to navigate the software. It helps with creating your designs. How you get more storage? You cannot. Once you have reached the 5 gigs, there is no more storage to be gotten. Before, if you had a subscription to the design store, it would give you an additional 5 gigs, but now it's 5 gigs and that's it, which is why in the day for, like I'm telling y'all, I teach you all of the tricks. Like I break it all down. You don't need the storage. I don't use their storage at all. I know for some it's like, okay, well, I want to kind of use it because it's built into it and I have the 5 gigs. I don't want to pay for anything else. But if you're doing business, where you're going to keep your files at for your business, you don't want to have to just always delete files because you have to recreate them over. I recommend, use being smart about the subscriptions that you purchase. If you had to decide between a subscription to like your income is limited. You had to decide between paying for Photoshop every single month or paying for storage like through Dropbox or Google Drive and paying $12, $15 for 1 terabyte of storage. I would recommend, until you can afford maybe both of them, you're using a program like Silhouette Studio that's absolutely free. Taking that $20 from paying from Photoshop that you're not even using anyway because you aren't taking the time to learn it. So you paying them $20 every single month and you scared of the program. Why are we wasting money every single month? Take that money, get you a Google Drive, get you a Dropbox, save it there. When you go file, save as, save to computer, you don't have to save to your computer hard drive. You're going to save to your Dropbox. You're going to save to the drive for Google. You're going to save to your OneDrive. Any computer that you can log into that drive, you have access to those files. Only thing that I put in the library, unless like I'm teaching and I'll kind of just show putting stuff there, but my patterns, I have a couple of like glyph guides. I have like blank templates that I will put in there. Stuff like that is what I really use the library storage for. It's never going to be enough storage for you to be saving the designs that you create. Because some of those designs, if you're bringing in a bunch of pictures, you can take up, the majority of your design, like the majority of your storage space in just a few designs. The storage space is not built based on, 10 files, 5 files. If you got all these pictures and colors and backgrounds and splashes, if you have a PNG of splashes or paint splatters, fades, all of that is data. That's taking up that 5 gig. 5 gig goes like that. Get yourself a cloud-based storage. I don't recommend external hard drives because they can scratch as well and you can easily lose your information. Technically with clouds, you can if someone hacks their stuff, but it's like highly unlikely. It's a little bit easier to get it back or just save in multiple places. No form of storage is ever a guarantee. You can go, unless they can give you unlimited storage on Silhouette. If something happens to their server, everything is stored on their server. Guess what? You lose everything anyway. Yep, I just went over print and cut, but I have a dedicated video specifically for print and cut. I will. I'm actually going to go pick him up right now. I brought several classes and your sublimation paper sample. Yeah, I was like, huh? This is what Even sent me. He created an emoji of Zion Imani's face. Like, these people. I'm gonna close up the shop while you guys are putting in your last couple questions. We got like 3 minutes left. His school is not far from here, so I don't have to like rush. I'm just wrapping up my stuff. Gonna grab my purse on the way out. Oh, might as well shut this off. I didn't even use my heat press today. Save up, guys. I mean, I know it can get, I know times get hard. I'm not saying it just like so that I can get rich. It is there to help you. If you're trying to make this a business, the biggest part of this creative business is the custom side, or just simply the ability to be able to add a name to something that can up the actual value of something 10, 20, 15, 50% sometimes, where if it was just generic, now you're adding a name on it. You're adding their wedding date, their anniversary. You're customizing it for birthdays and things like that. That ups the value because this now becomes custom, almost basically one of a kind, unless you're doing like multiple shirts. That ups the value. So once you invest in yourself, I know it may seem really, really hard. I get it. A lot of people are on either fixed incomes, but we invest in printers. We find the money to get the printers to be able to produce things. We find the money to be able to buy the blanks, to be able to buy the ink, the paper. So, and I know in our minds are like, okay, but they're paying for that. I'm building that into the cost. Which you can also build in expenses and things like classes into the cost as well. If you know that you're going to need more trainings to be able to help you become a better designer, be able to design fast, more done so that you can move on to the next order. Every order that you do, like maybe add on, a few bucks. If before you were charging $25 and now, man, I know I need to get in this 30-day training. You won't be able to attend the live sessions because that's an additional cost per month for the new upcoming live trainings. But just to get the 30-day training, you get access to the exclusive group and things of that nature. If you're normally charging $25 for a tumbler, that you want to get in this class, maybe make it $27. So for every tumbler you sell, it might take you a little bit longer to get there. But when you get to around like 50 tumblers sold, you have that $100 to be able to purchase it. Or maybe you'll save up enough and you'll be able to catch it on sale. But it's definitely worth it. Investing in that will only increase your profit margin because you're going to be able to do more. Don't see it as a burden. It is something that's an asset. The same way we saw to invest in the printer, the ink, the machine, things like that. It's definitely worth investing in it. If you're going to drop not saying you, but for anyone, you're going to drop $500 on this new Cameo 5. Silhouette don't show you how to use this software like I do. They barely show you how to use the software. So instead of saying that machine is going to cost you $500 or $329, whatever it is, plan for $400 because you're going to need the machine and you're going to need to learn how to utilize the software. Okay. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I thank you guys so very much for hanging out with me. I can't say for certain that I'm going to have a live video tomorrow because normally Wednesdays is when I do my like live Q&As, but I did one today. I'm going to try and maybe do like some demo type videos. Someone asked about decals, although she didn't really come back. Maybe I'll do something with cutting adhesive on it. It's been a long time since I did that. So I'll maybe do like some type of demo video tomorrow. But if not, I will see you guys definitely on Friday. All right. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.